is Aisha Ibrahim. Joining Prime comes to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air on Go TV channel 144, on DSTV channel 421. Many thanks for choosing us. Let's start off with COVID-19, because Bolgatanga Boko Road is now open to traffic after a portion of it was washed away by the recent floods in the Upper East region. We'll be getting to speak about how COVID-19 is also affecting some of those areas and what the Vice President has been saying. But let's listen to Albert's story, who's been following the rains and how victims are faring.
A 20-meter ditch was created on the road at Kubori in the Boku West district, preventing commuters from being able to cross over from the Boku areas to the capital, Bolgatanga, and vice versa. Earlier this week, government assured stranded drivers that the road will be fixed. Joy News can report that the road has now been repaired and commuters are using it. Drivers say they are now relieved they are able to use the road again. Here are some of them.
Now we are very happy that they fixed it. Our cars can now pass, we can now do our business, and everything is all right for us now. We thank the Almighty God. Everything is going on well now.
It is good now. We are feeling happy, because when the road was washed off, we don't know what to do. We, the passengers and the drivers, we are all suffering from that other road. Even if you load and go, the moment you come back, all the money you get, maintenance, they will take the money again. So you get nothing. So we are happy for the contractors.
Albert Sori's report read to you.
All three contractors involved in the construction of the Palugu multipurpose dam in the Upper East region have reported to site. That's according to the Volta River Authority, which is currently involved in the environmental and social impact assessment of the area. They say though the recent floods have stalled their work for some time, they want the people of the Upper East region to be rest assured that they are still on site and work is steadily progressing. Correspondent Albert Sorry once again reports.
Officials of the Volta River Authority, VRA, and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, gave the assurances while making a donation of some food items to victims of the recent floods in the Upper East region. They say the Volta Lake is under the management of VRA, and therefore they were saddened by the plight of the flood victims. Osman Ayuba Aludiba is managing director of NEDCO.
We've lost lives, and a life once lost cannot be brought back, you understand. But what can we do to ameliorate the sufferings of the people? Once their lives have been lost, their farmlands have been lost, houses have been lost, you cannot actually compensate them. So this is actually not a compensation, it's just a token to just lessen the plight of these people.
The Palugu multipurpose dam, when completed, will help control the perennial floods. Government cut sword last year for the construction of the dam. Therefore, following the devastation caused by the floods this year, many had wondered if any progress had been made with work on the project. Senior Government Public Relations Officer for the Palugu Multipurpose Dam, David Pra, says all three contractors involved in the construction of the dam are currently on site. He said work had been ongoing in the area for some time, but had to be halted due to the recent floods.
The first and the major contractors, who are the Power China construction company, they are the engineers and the contractors of the actual dam. They are on site. They are doing what we call pre-concrete construction activities. They have done the access roads to the dam site very beautifully shaped with some culverts and other bridges fixed. And then they have also cleared the area where the workers will be staying, we call the campsite. The surveyors are also on site. They are demarcating the dam boundaries. And then we have the ESIA, Environmental Social Impact Assessment contractors. They VRA is working with Lands Commission, Forestry Commission, and then EPA with Energy Commission, and we are doing what we call property valuation to evaluate the properties in the area to know who and who must be paid and at what cost. The reservoir space is about 350 kilometers square, so it's so large to contain the volume of water that Bagre will spill.
Upper East Regional Minister Tangoba Abayagi urged the contractors to get back to work as soon as the flood waters recede.
I'm told that once the rains stop and the waters recede, you will divert the river and then you start the construction of the dam itself. I can't wait to see this happen, because if you look at the quantum of water that we are wasting, we are wasting the water, and then it's costing us lives and property. It's not worth it. So
VRA NETCO donated 3 truckloads of assorted food items to NADMO for onward distribution to victims of the recent floods. The items, worth 350,000 Ghana cedis, included rice, oil, sugar, milk, and some canned food items. Upper East Regional Director of NADMO, Jerry Asamani, explained how the items would be distributed.
First of all, what we are going to do is to set up a committee, and the donor agency would be represented. And that is where we would give them, get a briefing, get them the...
A justice of the High Court, Amos Wone, has served notice he will not hesitate to punish persons who scandalize the court. The remarks were made as he adjourned the contempt case involving Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan, even though lawyers for the MP are seeking to use the Supreme Court to stay proceedings. Justice Wone had insisted on going ahead with the matter. Justice Wone had ordered the MP to show up and explain why he should not be severely punished for comments he made about a judge which the court deems disrespectful. Court correspondent Joseph Akable has more.
Justice Wone had ordered the MP to show up and explain why he should not be severely punished for comments he made about a judge which the court deems disrespectful. He failed to show up on Monday over claims he was unaware of the proceedings, causing the court to fix the matter for Friday. But his lawyers want the Apex Court to stop it entirely. In an application filed at the Apex Court, they say Justice Wone does not have jurisdiction to hear the matter since he is not the judge the MP offended. They have also described as strange claims the MP could not be found to receive court documents. They explain Mr. Japan is a regular panelist at Net2 TV and could also have been found in Parliament. Lawyers for the MP on Friday informed the court of the application they have filed at the Supreme Court. Justice Wone dismissed the request to halt proceedings, saying nothing legally barred his court from going ahead to hear the matter. A member of Mr. Japan's legal team, Kwame Jan, however, told the judge he disagreed with the decision. Justice Wone then decided that he would adjourn the case to take further legal arguments from Mr. Japan's legal team on Friday, September 25. A member of Mr. Japan's legal team, Afenyo Markin, has been speaking to pressmen.
The court obliged us for further legal engagement, and the court so moto took an adjournment so that we could further raise the issue. So that is where we are.
But is it normal practice in the sense that the court had stated that it was minded to continue, and later on it now took the view that it's going to take a break and come back for further legal arguments?
Law has no limitations. Once an officer of the court, in this case counsel, engages the court on a healthy exchange on matters of law, a judge minded to ensuring justice in a matter will do what my Lord has done. And we think my Lord has demonstrated that he always wants the law to reign supreme.
Mr. Japan will on September 25 be urging the court to halt its proceedings pending a determination of the case filed at the Supreme Court.
Participants of the stakeholder engagement on property registration in Ghana are calling for a complete overhaul of processes around land ownership and registration. They argue the litigation and sometimes bloody disputes over land in Ghana are as a result of a broken down system which can be cured through nationwide digitization of records. The forum convened by Imani Ghana revealed the cumbersome nature of land registration in Ghana frustrates interest holders, which creates a market for fraudulent individuals to take advantage of the system. There's more in the following report.
The meeting, which was convened by Imani Ghana, harvested key challenges in Ghana's land administration system. Years of inefficient collection, processing and management of the data of land has resulted in unending disputes among interest holders. President of Imani Ghana, Franklin Kujo, believes the cumbersome regulation regime contributes to the country's declining performance in the ease of doing business rankings.
I mean, one of the reasons why we are not doing well on the Ease of Doing Business Index of the World Bank is because it takes so many days, if not a whole year, to get a land registered. And it will take about half of your average income a year in order to get the land registered, right? That's why we are not doing well on the index. We were 108th in 2016. Today we are 118th out of 190 countries. It's not the best way to go. You cannot live in a country where since 1974, the topographical map of the country has not been updated. It doesn't make sense.
From land guardism to duplicity in ownership, the current bottlenecks in land documentation have resulted in more than half of cases in the law courts. While the majority of lands, especially in rural Ghana, are yet to be formally registered, the Lands Commission says it is on the verge of deploying digital mapping instruments to capture ownership details of lands. Dr. Benjamin Amakwe is the head of special projects at the Commission.
The Accra region has been scanned. What we are focusing on is the 4 girls registration districts in Greater Accra, in Accra district and Tama districts, where we are digitizing and linking all the transactions to it. That I would say we are around about 70 to 80% complete. So when that is done, within that area, when we can process transactions digitally. I think that's the first step. First of all, it's transparency. But in a manual system, you wouldn't know that this same piece of land is in different ownership. But if after digitizing, you get to know that thing, then you can have a strategy of resolving it.
Franklin Kujo, however, wants the digitization to be accompanied by a complete overhaul of the system.
The point is that digitization does not solve the problems of the human factor. The human factor here is what exactly are we imputing into the data system? That's all matters. I think the panelists spoke about this matter. Whatever you are putting into the data must be sacrosanct. If you are registering land that is contested by 100 people and you digitize it, what have you done? You've only digitized the problem.
Chief of the Pantine traditional area, Ni Otubwa III, called on traditional custodians to be more diligent in leasing lands.
So when things are streamlined, chiefs put their foot down, who are not money conscious. Do you understand? Who are not money conscious. Because the money, we came to this earth and meant it. What we have to do is, the young one, the generation that are coming in, we must think of them. So there should be a proper agreement. When somebody is coming for land there, the one who is coming to lease the land, the chiefs must have a portion to sign. For me, before you dig, put a pickers down, I will request that I must be there to make sure that the land that I have given you, that is where you are digging. The pillars that you brought and I wrote your name on it, I will be doing the writing. I will ask my people to write their name on it. And I will be there to make sure that we have fixed it at the right place.
For Joy News, Manuel Quanting.
Let's talk about COVID-19 because Vice President Dr. Bawumia has urged Ghanaians not to lose their guard by ditching the culture of wearing face masks despite the decline in the number of active cases. Addressing a meeting of stakeholders during the presentation of a report by the Operation COVID-19 Safety Task Force in Accra, he reminded Ghanaians of the threat posed by the virus and the need to respect all COVID-19 protocols to stay safe. That, according to Vice President, is the surest way of preventing a resurgence of the virus.
Today, we are opening up a bit, but still, we've had to put a lot of precautions at the airport, make sure people are tested before they come in and tested after they come in. Initially, people were wondering why do we have to test people when they've already been tested outside. But so far, for the people who have come in, we found 15 people, even though they were tested negative outside. 15 people have been found to have tested positive once they arrived here. So it sort of justifies the second test. Otherwise, those 15 people would be in the system and they would think they are negative. And once the numbers increase, the 15 could easily increase to 500. And then you would suddenly lose control. And we have to make sure, because the nature of the virus is so unpredictable, and spikes keep coming up, you know, whether you're talking about New Zealand or Europe now. Europe, there's a round of spikes taking place, even in countries that thought they had control. And so we should never, you know, never think that it is over. I think that we have seen, you know, some decline in the spread of the virus. There's no doubt about it. And I think it's clear that the work of everybody, because we've worked as a team Ghana across on this matter. And it is coming, it's very, very amazing what has really happened. And we have eased as, you know, systematically as we go. But I think we should never think it's over. And so we pray that one of these days the vaccines, effective vaccines, may be available that we can trust and that we can then use for our people. But until then, I heard the U.S. Center for Disease Control Director said that the best vaccine is the mask. I mean, he says the best vaccine you have is the mask. And so we should all wear the mask.
Minister of National Security Albert Kandapa made a special plea for the establishment of a National Emergency Relief Fund as Operation COVID-19 Safety Task Force Committee report reveals shortage of PPEs nearly marred the country's management of the global pandemic. There's also suggesting that the handling of the pandemic must be made a blueprint to strategically position the country to swiftly and effectively manage future pandemics.
It's become good news that there is a need for a strategic national stockpile, which we will talk about, and we think it should be taken very seriously. We believe that it will be useful, Your Excellency, if you were to have a National Emergency Relief Fund. Such a fund, if it did exist when we started all this, could also have been very, very beneficial to have made funds readily available for the team, the partnership, to have fallen on at the time that we were trying to solve this problem.
5,527 persons had the cost of their quarantine borne by the state. Ghana's infection rate is 10.2%, lower than the West African average, with a recovery of 97.98%. Ghana's rate of recovery is higher than the West African, and world averages. Similarly, the country has one of the lowest fatality rates in the world, and that is about 0.64%. These indicators point to the effectiveness of the measures implemented to combat the COVID-19. And to this end, as the Vice President, we want to use the opportunity to thank His Excellency the President, your good self, your government, and all those who made this possible. Having said this, the Vice President, there were a few challenges that were observed. Due to the higher global demand for PPEs and other medical supplies, there was a shortage of these essential medical supplies. This impacted on the activities of frontline responders. Delays in testing could also be attributed to this. The national medical stores could form the nucleus of such an entity if established. Even though government made adequate financial provisions for the national containment effort, the late release of funds to frontline agencies, example daily allowance, especially contact tracers, demoralized them and nearly marred the work of the committee. The operational capacity of Ghana Health Service was challenged due to logistics and staff constraints.
That was Henry Korte, who is Deputy National Security Minister, and his boss talking about highlights of the COVID-19 Task Force report. Now, Bono East is so far the region with the highest COVID-19 death rate in the country. The 14 coronavirus-related deaths, representing 1.8% of the total confirmed cases in the region, is significantly higher than the national average of 0.64%. This was disclosed by the Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, during the 2020 mid-year review at CONTEMPT, and Sabit was there for Joy News.
At the 2020 mid-year performance review of the Ghana Health Services held in CONTEMPT in the Bono East region under the theme Strengthening Maternal and Child Health Services Delivery in the Midst of COVID-19, Regional Health Director Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng disclosed that the newly created region recorded a total of 14 COVID-19 deaths, representing 1.8% of the total confirmed cases, a figure above the national average of 0.64% deaths.
The total confirmed cases as of 15th are 781. However, we have recorded 14 deaths, and as alluded to us by the Deputy Director of Public Health, this gives us a case fatality rate of 1.8, which is a bit on the higher side as compared to the national figure of 0.64. As we speak now, the active cases are 4.
He however stated that about 98% of the recorded cases in the region have been treated and discharged.
Honorable Chair, all 11 districts have not been spared, and we have recorded cases in all the districts. But the good news is, the total cases that we have de-isolated or discharged stands at a whopping number of 763. And this is a representation of almost 98% of all the confirmed cases of COVID-19.
On institutional infant mortality, the region performed better within the same period last year.
Now, Honorable Chair, to reach basically into it, efforts to reduce morbidity and mortality, and also to
The exhibition of the Provisional Voters Register for the elections this December got off to a slow start on Friday. The exercise, which will continue for the next 8 days, is taking place simultaneously across all 33,367 centers nationwide from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, including Saturday and Sunday. A visit to some exhibition centers here in Accra revealed little activity with low turnout of registered persons seeking to verify their details. Manuel Kranting was at the Youngsters International School at Kokomlimle earlier and reports only 9 out of 684 people had verified 4 hours into the exercise.
On Friday at the Youngsters International School Exhibition Center. Two centers combined with about 684 registered voters. They're expected to come and check their details and confirm names and spellings and so on. We'll try to get closer to some of the EC officials here and speak to them about how the process has been so far. How long have you been here?
4 hours now.
4 hours now. Okay, so I mean, what is the progress that you're having here?
No, not much. The people are now. We are expecting the people to come and check their names on the provisional register. But as at now, we are having about 9 people who have checked.
9 people. That is for your polling center or for
both?
For both of the polling centers.
The two polling stations. We have 9 people as at now.
Out of how many?
Out of 684. Yeah. So, but we are hoping for them to come and check. But for the exceptional, the multiple list, we have for my center. I have only 1 person who have done multiple registration. So we are hoping if the person will come and object to the name, his name, which has appeared on the multiple list.
I'll try to speak to. I see one gentleman here who has come to, confirm and check his name. Have you gone through the process?
Joining me on the phone is the Acting Director of Communication at the Electoral Commission, Sylvia Ano, for more on this. Sylvia, what's your general assessment of day 1 of the exercise?
Good evening, Aisha, and good evening to your viewers as well. Yeah, let me say that information gathered from the source indicates that the exercise has started well. And in terms of numbers, remember that we also have the mobile telephony set. So in terms of numbers, we cannot make any judgment. I think it would be premature to make any judgment at this point in time. But so far, it's been good. The first day, in the morning, we had a delay of information. Those who tested their voter ID numbers to 1422 had some delays due to the traffic in the system. But thankfully, it was resolved. It wasn't for all the mobile services. The issue was resolved. So I would want to believe that if you tested your or you sent your ID number to 1422 and you didn't get the response that you were expecting, would advise you not to resend your voter ID number, but wait, because your number, definitely the details would pop up later. There's no need to resend the number, otherwise another 30% will be deducted from your account.
But aside the low turnout, it's been an interesting addition of having to use a code to just check on the website to be sure your name is on the register. The fear for many, though, is what if you find your name there today and on election day, you go to your registration center and your name is not on the register? Possible?
Aisha, let me just go back to what you said about low turnout, the generalization. I think that it's premature at this point in time to talk about low turnout, because you indicated, I just saw one exhibition center, and we were told that very few people have come to check their names, but you cannot say for sure how many people use the mobile telephony service. So for now, we rather have to encourage those who haven't checked their names to go and verify their details. And the moment you check your details, you find your name on the voters register. If there are any anomalies, you'll be asked to go to our district officers to make the necessary corrections. I can assure you that that would be very strange to find your name on the voters register today, and then on election day your name will be absent.
I'm grateful for your time. Sylvia Anon is head of public affairs at the Electoral Commission. Still to come in this bulletin, economist proposes more support from central bank to sustain cities' gain.
They must be careful about is that despite the shortfall in government revenue and the need to step in to fund the government budget, we must keep an eye on the FX development.
There is more in business shortly.
A good evening to one of you. It's time for business with me, Charles Aitip. Economist at Data Bank, Courage Mate, is pushing for more support from the central bank to help sustain the city's stability. The local currency has seen some record stability for the first 7 months of this year. Now, this development has been attributed to some policy measures introduced by the central bank. By speaking to Joy Business earlier on the marketplace, Mr. Marta says the Bank of Ghana may have to up their support a little bit to support the good run of the city.
For the short term, our FX needs have already been catered for. And for that matter, they are not punishing the Ghana cedi. So that has helped the Ghana cedi to be this stable for this long. And we expect that this stability will be sustained to the end of the year, despite the risk of elections. Management, lies rightly in the hands of the central bank. So what they must be careful about is that despite the shortfall in government revenue and the need to step in to fund the government budget, we must keep an eye on the FX development so that it would not cause a destabilization of the stability we've already seen. And so whilst there's a need for central bank to step in like it's been done around the world to support government budget, we must also be cautious and proceed with caution because there could be an FX consequences of the excess liquidity.
Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, as part of its corporate social responsibility, has presented some medical items and locally manufactured solutions to the medical reception station for the 1st Infantry Battalions at Michelle Camp. Now, the initiative comes at the time when the medical facility has been heavily involved in the fight against COVID-19. There is more in this report. The gesture forms part of the mobilization drive by the Ghana Revenue Authority to help fight the global pandemic in order to get economic activities back on track. Some of the items donated include alcohol-based hand sanitizers locally manufactured from the customs lab, paper wipes, and other medical items. After a short ceremony to present the items to the medical facility, Assistant Commissioner of the Commissioner General Secretariat, Joseph Odroyeboa, noted that the GRA is not only interested in the collection of taxes, but as well the well-being of the citizens in order to go about their businesses.
Part of our social responsibilities. Every year we select some of these medical facilities and we do donations. So it's one of our social responsibilities, activities that we perform.
Medical officer of the facility, Captain Kelvin Amedo, who receives the items on behalf of the station, is confident that the product will go a long way to support the hospital in fighting the pandemic.
These hand sanitizers, the detergents, and all other items that have been brought to us today will be put to good use to ensuring the highest level of care to our patients.
The medical reception station serves some parts of Tema and the military camp. Now, government says it will invest more funds into businesses of micro, small and medium enterprises in the coming months. Now, the move is part of its post-pandemic economic recovery plan aimed at strengthening the economy. Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Robert Ahum-Kalensi, disclosed to journalists that the various funds announced by the government to revive the said businesses is the start of various initiatives to be executed by government. There is more on this in this report.
According to Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Robert Ahum-Kalensi, the micro, small-scale industries have become the engine of growth, hence the aggressive agenda by government to revive the economy through that sector.
The reality is that we know the 700-odd million that the government of Ghana has committed, plus this 90 million that has come through from the partnership, is a start. This government knows the importance of MSMEs. They are our economy. And you know, at any time we have different programs that has come forward. So you will see with time as we go on that more will come through.
On her part, Executive Director of the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, Kosiyan Kiaye, urged small businesses affected by the pandemic to take advantage of the initiatives by the government.
This is a time for Ghanaian businesses to recover, stand strong and accelerate, to really benefit from all the interventions of government and in the community.
So far, some funds have been released to the National Board for Small-Scale Industries and participating banks for disbursement to businesses affected by the pandemic.
Now, a team of technicians from the Africa World Airlines has visited the whole airport to assess the possibility to ply that route. Now, the Chief Safety Officer of the airline, Captain Kwesi Otin, said it was regrettable that the government didn't inform them of the handing over of the airport and its readiness for commercial flights to kickstart. According to him, the company was satisfied with the level of infrastructure and that a team will be consulted to explore the possibility of commencing commercial flights soon. Now, here's an infographic we put together on this particular development. And that's it by way of business for this hour. Back at 8 for more. Sports is up next.
And thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. It's now time to bring you sports. I am Hans Mensah Ando. The Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association has suspended Techiman City Football Club provisionally until the next Congress of the GFA for violating the statutes of the association. Last month, Techiman City issued a writ against the GFA and filed an ex parte motion against the GFA to place an interlocutory injunction on the recently held 26th Ordinary Congress of the Ghana Football Association.
Techiman City Football Club on Friday, August 28, issued a writ of summons against the GFA and filed an ex parte motion against the GFA to place an interlocutory injunction on the recent 26th Ordinary Congress of the Ghana Football Association. It is clear from the admission requirements under Article 13 and 16(1)(f) of the GFA Statutes 2019 that a member of the GFA will not take matters of interpretation and application of the FIFA, CAF and GFA statutes, regulations and decisions and directives to the ordinary course unless the FIFA statutes or regulations, CAF statutes or the GFA regulations or binding national law provide for a court to stipulate recourse to ordinary course. Where there are violations, Article 17(1) of the GFA statutes 2019 states that the Congress is responsible for suspending a member. The Executive Council may, however, temporarily suspend a member that seriously and repeatedly violates its obligations as a member with immediate effect. The suspension approved by the Executive Council shall last until the next Congress unless the Executive Council has lifted it in the meantime. Following this decision of the Executive Council, Techiman City Football Club is suspended from all GFA activities including the upcoming 2020-2021 football season until the next GFA Congress decide the fate of the club as prescribed under Article 17 and 18 of the GFA Statutes. Article 17(3) of the GFA Statutes states that a suspended member shall lose its membership rights. Other members may not entertain sporting contact with a suspended member. The disciplinary committee may impose further sanctions. Consequently, Techiman City is provisionally suspended from the Ghana Football Association until the next GFA Congress, where the delegates will be presented with the matter on the agenda for Congress to take a decision on the issues in accordance with the statutes of the association.
Now, the Ghana Football Association prosecutors began charging some individuals who were implicated in the investigative documentary titled Number 12 by Tiger PI. Former Greater Accra RFA chairman Ni Komiete Doku and Mr. Kofi Menu have both been charged for abuse of position contrary to Article 25(1) of the GFA Code of Ethics 2019. They have also been charged for bribery contrary to Article 27(1) and 2 of the GFA Code of Ethics 2019. Both are expected to submit their written statement of defense by Thursday, September 24, 2020, at the GFA Secretariat on or before 4 p.m. or through the Ghana Football Association's email address. They may, however, choose the option for a personal hearing before the GFA Ethics Committee on a date and time to be communicated. Now, should they fail to choose any of the options, the Ethics Committee shall proceed to adjudicate the case in their absence. Meanwhile, the GFA prosecutor will send charge sheet to other individuals who are implicated in the same investigative documentary. That's it for sports. There is more at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mensando.
Time for showbiz now. Becky is here with the very latest. Hi, Becky.
Hello to you, Aisha. Yes, I'm here with the very latest. Dinah Hamilton is out with the very latest song, Adum, and she's been explaining the song. It's actually a song about her sister. This is very close, and it's a testimony about God's grace, basically. That's it. So we have Dinah and her sister speaking to us here on the program. Yes, talking about grace and all that.
She was very passionate. It shows how grateful she is to God. For whatever He's done for her.
Aisha, what do you make of love and religion? So a lot of people think that Menai Donko, who is a Christian married to footballer Muslim Suleiman Tari. Somebody asked when she was on Personality Profile on Joy FM that how does she manage? I mean, is there a problem? Does she have problems with, you know, her being a Christian and
coexisting the two religions? Yeah.
And she has a very intelligent answer to give.
Lexus, kindly ask her, how do they deal with religious differences? Are you Christian?
Yes.
And Sule is Muslim?
Yes.
How do you deal with it?
We don't deal with it. We just don't. I think it's, you know, all about, again, love and respect. I think we focus so much on religion that we forget about the essence of, you know, being good individuals. And I think that's what matters. And we're raising our kids to, you know, to instill more values in them rather than, you know, push religion on them. It's, I mean, religion and then what? What is religion? You know, how are you, for me as a Christian, living a Christ-life life? How are you doing that? Are you kind? Are you compassionate? That is more important than focusing so much on religion.
But eventually, you would have to instill in them some religious doctrines. So
well,
are you...
There's the basics.
Yeah.
What are the basics? Those are what we're instilling in them.
And are those from the Christian perspective or the Islam perspective?
Both, and they'll figure it out when they're older.
You wouldn't like them to probably be more Christian?
I want them to be great human beings. That's what I want them to be.
Yeah, but religiously, what would you prefer?
I'm not too keen on
religion.
No.
Okay.
Of course, we don't have to focus more on religion.
Definitely.
If you love
religion
somebody,
shouldn't be a barrier.
No,
it shouldn't.
Yeah. But Aisha, Don Little, our actor, very lovely actor.
What is he up to now?
He's in trouble.
Oh my goodness.
So Joe Biden, you know, was pictured with a child in the U.S. What happened is that our very own actor went to pick the same picture and posted on his Instagram saying that he was the one. And he had all the celebrities most, you know, talking about him, congratulating him for meeting the president.
I mean, presidential candidate.
Yeah, in the United States, and it got social media talking. So what I also heard is that he doesn't manage his own accounts. It's somebody that is managing. We tried reaching him, but I mean, he won't say anything. So that is Don Little acting.
You see, this mask, eh?
I know. And he just went away with it. I don't know why.
I mean, it has figure him out because the person was wearing a mask.
But why would you do that if you know that it's not you? It's like me posing with a fake Kim Kardashian and saying, "Oh, not me," like putting my face.
Impersonation is a crime.
You don't do that.
It is a crime.
You don't do that.
I'm not sure
all celebrities.
The young chap will be happy if he knew that was what he did. He could get himself sued,
Yeah, but well, we're not saying so that you can sue him. We beg of you. I'm begging on behalf of Don Little.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a decision for me to take. Thank you so much for bringing us.
Have a nice weekend, Aisha.
You too. Enjoy
and everybody
yours too, Becky. And that'll be it for Showbiz. For those of you watching on Joy Prime, that'll be it. The news continues on Joy. New election headquarters, Western Region Secretary for the NPP, Charles Bisu, is mocking the opposition NDC's vice presidential candidate, Professor Nana Jenopoku-Agyeman's reception during her tour of that region. Videos have been circulating on social media of John Mahama's running mate driving through seemingly deserted streets at Axim. At the Takoradi Market Circle as well, there have been reports that traders were going about their business as usual as Professor Opoku-Agyeman drove through. Charles Bisu says his opponents planned the tour poorly and is confident the NPP will annex more seats in the region come December.
We all saw the videos, even in Axim. If the Member of Parliament, Catherine Ablema-Feku, should drive through the principal street of Axim, you see a lot of market women and then fisher folks following her. I've been about 3 or 4 times. I went to school in Axim. But for a vice presidential candidate to be driving through Axim with nobody even cheering her, it tells them something. And then if I were a strategist within the NDC, I would have told them not to. They can bring another video to counter the one which is actually, which has gone viral to prove that it wasn't really true. Market Circle in Takoradi. Market Circle, if you're going to win an elections, if you drive through there, you will know. And you saw what happened in the Market Circle, Takoradi. So for me,
what happened there? You tell me.
There was nobody there. People were actually hooting her hair and all that. And Nana Akufo-Addo was there about a month ago and the place was choked. You see, and even the Member of Parliament for Takoradi could even bring more people out, more than the vice presidential candidate of the NDC. So it's a misplaced priority for me. So their strategy should rethink. And I think in the first place, they've made a mistake by bringing President Mahama. If I'm sending my presidential candidate there, I'll do my checks, do my research and see if the voters would accept him. If not, then other things that I have to do for him to before he gets there would be done. And before the president or the vice president comes there, I would travel to the areas and do my checks, do my proper research, do a write-up for whoever is visiting so that we understand what is going on.
When the regions were separated, how many seats were the region left with, the Western region left with?
17, and the NPP has 13, whereas the NDC has 4.
So how many are you winning in December?
The target is all 17, but then realistically, I will not tell you realistically like we did the last time, even though I knew we were going to win 8 seats. I can show you on my phone. We sent the report in May 2016 as to the 8 seats, how we're going to win them and the reasons why we're going to win them. We do know now, but the people that we're working with, but then all the 17 seats are targets for us, whereas the 17 is a target for them too. We're all going to deal with the data now.
A group calling itself Concerned Patriots of Ekrofom constituencies of the MPP are questioning the academic qualifications of the party's parliamentary candidates for the 2020 election. The group is alleging the certificate submitted by Alex Blankson to contest June's parliamentary primaries is fake. Group leader Pepra Edward is worried the party's agenda 80% win could be derailed by the revelation and wants the party's hierarchy to address the issue immediately as their main opponent, the NDC, is using it against them. Mahmoud Mohammed Nouruddin has more.
The shackles hanging around the neck of Mr. Blankson vis-a-vis the criminal laws of the country concerning forgery. The party, however, did not seem to pay heed to the issue, and it is believed that matters have been put to rest. On Monday, 7 September 2020, the Crusading Guard newspaper carried a story titled NPP Activists Petition CID over Parliamentary Candidates Fake Certificates. Ladies and gentlemen, this sad and sour news happens to be about our parliamentary candidate, Mr. Alex Blankson.
The concerned patriots say they are ready to hit the ground running and win massively, but the integrity of their parliamentary candidate is a challenge.
This issue is alleged crime against our PC on fake certificate. Came up in 2015. Major media houses, print and electronic, made a lot of noise about it, but our PC was silent. It has come up again. In 2020, he has been responding to several interviews with the claim that the certificates issue is unfounded. We are therefore challenging our PC, Mr. Alex Blankson, with 72-hour ultimatum to sue the new Crusading Guard newspaper of 7th September publication. All media houses that have ever published this allegation for defamation and the University of Cape Coast for the letter of response issued to the party in May 2015 alleging that his certificate is fake. We as youth of the party are ever ready to hit the ground. Win and win massively. The agenda 80% is on course, but it takes the cohesiveness of the leadership, integrity of our PC, peace and then equanimity within the ambience of the party to achieve such targets.
They want the party's hierarchy to intervene and address the matter. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
The paramount chief of the AG Traditional Council and president of the Bono-Ahafo Regional House of Chiefs, Nanaya Okabre, said the fifth has called on traditional rulers to desist from engaging in partisan politics as enshrined in Article 276 of the 1992 Constitution. He made the call when former President John Mahama paid a courtesy call on him as part of his tour of the Bono East region.
Ato nananam eni muse maudia eye every policy sara ena considerate emma politicians also empower young age and exam and then
He used the opportunity to caution political parties to desist from engaging in chieftaincy issues as that breeds conflicts and dents the dignity of the institution. On On his part, former President John Mahama assured the chiefs and people that the NDC as a party has over the years been at peace with the traditional authorities and would continue to desist from delving into chieftaincy matters. He also accused the NPP of engaging in political violence, citing the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election as a clear example. Education, because the BEC ended for over 500,000 JHS students today, the first external exam for virtually all of them. One of the candidates, though, seemed to have gone miles ahead of his peers as he arrived at the exam center in a vehicle he assembled himself. 18-year-old Kelvin Krishank tells Joy News he used metal plates and wood to build his vehicle. He tells Faustina how he scavenged for scrap metals and used the proceeds to buy an engine for the vehicle.
You can't help but stop to catch a glimpse of his vehicle. Like most cars, Kelvin's machine runs on fuel, but with very little consumption. His initial idea was to assemble an aeroplane, but then things did not turn out as planned.
I got the idea from an aeroplane. The aeroplane was passing and I was there. Something told me that the aeroplane, I can do it. I should start doing something. So I started building small aeroplane, the small ones. So how I wanted it to fly to the level I didn't get it like how I want. So it reached to a time that I decided to build a car.
Getting the raw materials was difficult. He needed money to make his vision work. Determined to achieve it, Kelvin spent hours after school scavenging for scrap metals to sell. With the proceeds, he was able to purchase tires, wood, and an engine for the vehicle.
When they see me, they are all happy. Some people will be motivating me, some people will be supporting me with money to do it more. And this thing, because I'm a student and I didn't have the money to buy the materials that I need, so I've been working I go to work. Then if I get some money, I used to buy the parts. I can sell aluminum. Sometimes I've become very dirty because of the money that I want. So I've been picking metals from different places to go and sell and get money to buy, because I'm a student, I'm not working. So I use that opportunity to get the money, to gather money, and also my friends too were helping me. So if I get something, then I'll put it inside, and the material that we need, we buy it.
He hopes to assemble durable yet affordable vehicles that can be used by Ghanaians someday.
So right now, the concept for me building this thing is not only for me to be famous. No, I wanted to help the taxi drivers and the commercial workers as well. The fuel consumption is low, and because of the engine, it will not take in more fuel. So we can use this thing for taxis and transportation.
Kelvin is confident he will excel in the Basic Education Certificate examination. Posnasafo for Joe News.
Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Elsie Educhum, is entreating the West Africa Examination Council to review the exam structure to end cheating. This is in response to the frequent reports of cheating which come up each time there is final examinations. Dr. Educhum proposes setting different questions with same level of difficulty for students as one of the options. He's been touring some examination centers in the Ashanti region on the final day of the BECE exams. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
Beyond examination question leakage, cheating in examination has become a dent on the country's education system. This year's WASI saw students protest against what they call too strict invigilation and how questions were set for them. Dr. Educhum believes such actions threaten quality of education delivery in the country.
I know in previous universities here in Ghana that have different versions of the test. Same level of difficulty, but as you walk into that room, you could have seen about 10 versions of the test. So I may be sitting there to somebody and our questions are different. You take away cheating, because the one question 1 is not your question 1. My question 1 may be your question 21. And even in that case, what you could also do is that you scramble the answers in such a way that question 1, question 21 are the same, but your answer is C and mine is A. So we need to take away the potential for cheating. I tell you this, if we do not eliminate that, we make nonsense of all the effort that we are making in terms of changing the education system and making sure quality is brought brought to bear on the education system. If a student saying they can cheat, why would they study?
Dr. Educhum reveals students in public schools are not taking advantage of 30% threshold in Category A schools admission for them. He observes it's negatively impacting the policy introduced to bridge the gap between students in public and private schools.
So now you are from Cape Coast, you have a double advantage. If you are accepted to Infantsipim, for example, Wesley Girls, you can go to boarding, it's free. And if you happen to, they have a small day component. If you happen to be accepted as a day, you live in your house. But the most exciting thing is that the opportunity for entry has also been improved for students who went to public school. So if you went to public school, your aggregate may not be as high as somebody who went to private, but you have a rare opportunity to go to some of these top tier schools. It doesn't mean the schools in the middle and category C's are not good. Now, the government is also investing in those schools to really make sure they have what it takes to compete with anybody else. But in the meantime, the 30% set aside is giving a rare opportunity to public school students to go to schools that they previously could not have been admitted to go. There's a story of a young...
Meanwhile, some students who sat for the examination are confident of meeting the pass mark.
Oh, to me, my preparation towards this exam, it has been normal and great. To me, I had no difficulties in none of the papers I wrote. Yeah.
as I said the other time, I said we have been preparing effectively. So when it came, it was good, yes, I can say. But let's wait for the results and let's check if everything is good. Let's wait for the results, yes.
Oh, as for me, we are talking about A's, because the exams we were able to do it by God's grace. All that our teachers taught us, we were able to do it. And I think it's cool, yeah.
There was chaos on the streets in front of the Joy News studios Friday night for close to an hour after the driver of a minibus drove the vehicle together with his passengers to the station over a standoff with a police officer accused of attempted extortion. According to the driver, the policeman got into a scuffle with him because he refused to give him the bribe he asked for. Latif Idris spoke with the driver and one of the passengers.
Police phone sometimes ofano mu anu majuska ofano mu anu entimi kura man do ani mokoko bodo ani mo esoro ho no ma medu ye na metini pai do me na nipa guo eno mo ba be fo entika ne ye ma wo soro ho kura ana mi ba be di lane mo sem ba be twa U10 e wo Kingsway light na se medu on ma no ma ne nsa so se mi nyina entimi gina na o ka kire metini se metini mie do no ana metini bie do no ana okotena na nchen enti otena na nchen am twa U10 wie no me twafa ya lolo for no e kwan no so and was driver ye call office na hen wafa no and am say an office dey kwa kwa dey and was gina and am say mat me gina na emom gise me do bus stop and san me gina be community me nyina kwan ni finfi enti gise me do bus stop and san me gina na ka ne kona no afre kire no ma ba be so me mene e ba be for so ba be tukin wa drive car no air driving.
And you had passengers in the car?
Yes, 25 passengers. Me made count 27 because car is 6 seats. Me made count 27 passengers. Or no, I can't count 28.
And you are saying the police officer strangled you?
Well, me passengers in our car anymore. Well, me baby took in. Well, me it's madam be crying the sun in Sapchen.
Let's corroborate what you are saying. But you're not the Kanumbi. But when you are driving, can no crab in a room.
Me pato no kretro do no.
Police need so
o mia ne corner.
Thank you very much. I no pen me future. So she's corroborated what the driver just said, that the police officer strangled him after failing to give in to his demand of paying some bribe. Is that the case? He strangled you because you failed to give in to his demand of paying bribe.
Yes.
Okay. So continue with your story.
It's no why na why so mia me no. Eno kraka no toto ye. No be credit no kam ya de abono to be bisa passengers na.
Me tirin kwapa na se de ya hu no de ya ko wo de kwakwanta Sunday de ya be boshire me frafufu akwa sole na ba de awrade ase because police ni na de wa ya de ya ko wo de kwakwanta because obo head yi so e wonu no so no me ne na de to you want secretary obo head ni so wonu na case ni see ye.
The situation is calm now and the driver and the passengers are getting ready to depart the premises of Joy FM, where the driver drove to make a case for himself and the passengers. This is Latif Idris reporting for Joy News.
And from Kokomlemle, meet the 23-year-old choreographer braving the odds to perform for homeless and disabled people. Clifford Cobbiner believes by going out of his way, people who otherwise would have no source of entertainment would feel welcome in society. From the Western Region capital, Takrady, Justice Beidou has a story. It was the final preliminary contest for the National Science and Maths Quiz in the Ashanti Zone. Anglican SHS Kumasi, also known as Supercars, bulldozed their way through the rounds, accumulating points almost as quickly as the questions dropped. And Sutaman Catholic SHS and Edujemfi SHS hardly stood a chance, as by the end of round 2, Supercars had distanced them by over 30 points. The contestants of Cars, who had previously suffered defeat at the hands of Opokuwari last year in the 1/8 round, returned in grand style to the Isle of Witnesses. The team ended the contest with a whooping 74 points, the highest marks to have been scored by any team in the Ashanti preliminaries. Speaking to Joy News, the team hinted that it was only getting started as far as NSMQ 2020 is concerned.
It's been a most rewarding final contest.
of the Ashanti preliminaries right here at KNUST. And in fact, records have been broken. Major slaughter has been done. Unprecedented records have been set by supercars. Mind you, by the end of yesterday's contest, the highest scores were 50 points scored by Agogo State College after 5 rounds of the contest. The school here, Supercars, as by the end of round 2 in the contest, the 7th and final contest, they had scored 44 already, getting close to that record. And by the end of the contest, that's the contest 7 of today, in Sutaman Catholic SHS 27 points, Dujenfi SHS 30 points, and Anglican SHS Kumasi Supercars coming in with a whooping 74 points, the highest since the contest began, or the competition preliminaries began this year in the Ashanti region. They struck their opponent by not 1, not 2, but a whole 44 points. Major, I have the heroes here, and if you don't mind, I'll stand in your middle. Yes, thank you so much. They'll introduce themselves to us shortly, and we'll get on their feelings right now and what their secret has been. Please introduce yourselves to us.
My name is Wilfred Obin.
Okay, and you are?
Texan Dominic manager.
Okay.
Sule Rudy Aitia.
Okay, so tell us, gentlemen, what's the mood right now?
We feel excited, but not too.
Bishop Herman College, Sugarkope SHS and Akachi SHS have also made it through to the 1/8 stage after winning their respective contests. Here's the full complement of preliminary stage winners that have qualified for the knockout stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz. 12 best runners-ups have also made through to the next stage, but a tiebreaker contest will be held for 4 schools to determine the last 2 schools to make up the list. Remember, our coverage of the 2020 National Science and Maths Quiz is brought to you by Joy News, your most credible news channel, and supported by Bright SHS Kukurentumi, building dreams and shaping the future. DBS ColorLink Plus roofing sheet, roofing Papa Fie, Adonko hand sanitizer, Korompo Suro, and Adonko Next Level energy drink, the premium energy drink. Now, Chief Executive Officer of Delex Finance, Kenneth Kwamina Thompson, has admonished young people to take the right steps in venturing into businesses. In a yet-to-be-aired interview on PM Personality Profile at 9 p.m. this evening, Ken Thompson said it is doable but takes perseverance to be successful.
As a country, from where I sit, we've broken the link between endeavor and reward. So we have too many examples of people who have made money overnight, so that really people don't associate.
The full interview airs right after the news at 9 p.m. on the Joy News channel. We'll take a break. When we return, more business.
Hello once again, it's time for business. The National Lottery Authority, NLA, says it will commence another round of prosecution of unauthorized lotto operators in the country. According to the authority, this has become necessary as its attention has been drawn to new cases of fraudulent activities. In an interview, Director General of the NLA, Kofi Osei-Ameyaw, cautioned the public against these miscreants.
We need to be able to regulate, monitor the activities so that we know those who are operating, so that when somebody stakes at a particular vendor's kiosk and they win, we can pay their wins. We cannot let the public go and stake lotto and it's written on a piece of paper, and then tomorrow when we draw the numbers and they win, you go to the place and the person is disappeared. This simply because we don't have any records or data on them.
Now, the Center for Coastal Management of the University of Cape Coast has bemoaned the near collapse of the fisheries industry. According to the director of the center, Professor Dennis Wolanyo Aheto, excess capacity across the industrial and artisanal fishing fleets, which has led to overfishing, is killing the industry. Here is our quick take for today on this matter.
Because Ghana as a country should not be importing fish. We should look at targeting the export market where we can then export to the benefit of the country, because it's about Ghana's socio-economic development. And there are other associated issues. If we lose our fish stocks, you know, what then happens? I mean, we have about 3 million Ghanaians, about 10% of Ghana's population that is dependent on fish. And what that means is that we're going to have about 3 million people along the value chain who would not have access to livelihoods. And by implication, it means that we are letting out about 3 million people out of, putting them out of jobs. And this is a national security issue.
And that's an urgent call for the revival of Ghana's fisheries industry. That's how we end business. Sports is up next.
You're welcome to the second installment of Sports here on Joy News Prime. My name is Hans Mensando, and the Ghana Football Association and the State Transport Company earlier today signed a memorandum of understanding to kickstart the program of transporting match officials for the upcoming season. The MOU will run for 3 months, within which period a contract will be drafted and signed by the two entities for the next 3 football seasons.
The GFA announced that it has reached an agreement with Intercity Coaches Limited, Ghana's national carrier, to support match officials in 3 flagship competitions of the GFA. The MOU between the two parties was officially signed on Friday. The agreement is expected to run for 3 months, within which a period a contract will be drafted and signed by the two entities for the next 3 football seasons. President Kurt Okreku witnessed the signing on behalf of the Federation, whilst the Secretary General Prosper Harrison Addo signed for the GFA. Referees manager Alex Kote, Greater Accra Football Regional Association Chairman Samuel Abuabri, Director of Marketing Jamil Marabi, and Director of Communications Henry Asante-Chum accompanied the President to the signing ceremony. Referees manager Alex Kote believes the agreement between the two parties is one that would ensure that officiating in the Ghana Premier League is massively improved.
The former Minister of Youth and Sports, Neil Antivandapoy, has defended work done on the new DBRC Stadium, saying the contractor worked on monies handed to him. He says the next NDC government will complete the facility and construct more across the country.
Last year, there was controversy surrounding the construction of the new DBRC Stadium. The government had claimed that the contractor was not fully paid monies due him to complete the work on the facility. However, former Sports Minister Neil Antivandapoy insists the work done by the contractor was commensurate with the monies given to him.
The contractor was paid for the job that had been done before we left office. Before we left, he has also submitted some certificates, which, according to the contractor, had not been honored until last year. I don't know about now, whether that has been honored or not. But the issue is simple. If a government comes to power, the government should continue with projects that were backed upon by the previous government, provided that project is in sync with overall development plan of the country. So we started, and the government comes. Initially, they said so many things about it, and today we are seeing it.
He added that the new Edibiasi Stadium is the brainchild of the National Democratic Congress, the largest opposition party, and is confident should Ghanaians give them the mandate to govern the country come the December 7 elections, the NDC would ensure the facility would be constructed with even more across the country.
Well, the new Edibiasi Stadium was a vision of the late President Mills, which was given relevance by President Mahama when he became president. We started and we even secured more land to expand it from an ordinary football park for New Edibiasi to a whole stadium. That will include athletics over for all the schools within a catchment area, volleyball pitch, hockey pitch, and also basketball pitch. So that's what we're going to do. Unfortunately, nothing much has been done about it for now. So because it's our dream, it's our vision, we are telling Ghanaians that when we come, that will be completed. And then all other regions that do not have such facility will also have that facility.
Current Sports Minister Isaac Esiama last year visited the facility and said funding had been secured to complete the facility.
Now, FIFA President Gianni Infantino says they will ensure qualifiers for the 2022 FIFA World Cup are completed globally. He was speaking at FIFA's 70th Congress today. And if you're a Liverpool fan, you should be rejoicing because Thiago Alcantara has completed his move from Bayern Munich to Liverpool, and he joins for a fee in the region of £27 million. He'll be donning the number suggested. Not clear if you'll be involved in that game over the weekend against Chelsea, but what is certain is that Thiago is a Liverpool player. That's it for sports. There is more on myjoyonline.com/sports. I am Hans Mensah-Ando.
And it's time for the interactive segment. You know, the BC ended today, and there is a 57-year-old woman who is part of these people, and she says she had to go to school because of free SHS. We posted this on Facebook. A number of comments, amazing ones. Let's check out what you've been saying. 206 comments, 25 shares, 1.1k shares. Likes. Wow. By Jeremiah says, congratulations, mommy. Even though you will go on retirement as soon as you complete SHS, you'll never be given compulsory retirement order. And Dennis says, retirement age go bab before she go 10 years. No. And Simon says, may God bless your hustle, mama. Amen. Good luck. And John Apam says, how is that possible? I thought when you are over 35 years with SHS certificates, you cannot be admitted in nursing training. Please, I stand to be corrected. And that's good and encouraging. She should keep it up with her dream of becoming a nurse with determination can make it. I wish her the best. Nyameche says, anytime I see this woman, something shakes me from within. What a determination. Madam, continue because you're a motivation to those with desire to go high. Thank you. And Graham says, Maslow's hierarchy of needs in mind right now. Self-actualization. Well done, mommy. Keep soaring higher. Adam says, for every good determined course, there is a success. I pray God grants you good life to enjoy the fruit of your labor. Eagle Eye says, I wish her the best in her chosen path, but she, when she is done, will put her real age aside and use her academic age to work. I wish her the best of luck. Samuel Wudana says she's an inspiration. Never stop chasing your dream. God bless her hustle. And Jamal Garba says the system should grant her her wish. A number of positive comments there. Let me say congratulations to her myself. I mean, we should all emulate this example. That'll be it for the interactive segment, and that'll be it for the bulletin. Tonight, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. PM Personality Profile is up next. You don't want to miss it.